Hey, I know it's been a long time since you heard my voice. I haven't came out with a podcast in 5 to 6 months now. And this is me telling you why. Basically, you might hear pauses or whatever the case may be, but it's just me trying to get my thoughts together to relate to y'all this message to all my fans and the people that's consistently still supporting, even though I haven't posted this long. I appreciate you so much in ways that you don't understand, because this is what's keeping me going into this field, into this section of life that I feel like I have a grander purpose to do. I love to help people. Not only that, I want to inform people about I just want to inform people about the really the excuse me. Inform people about the ways of the laws of money, basically. And for a long time now, it's kind of been like a back and forth thing that I had to deal with. And don't think I just haven't been recording, that don't have episodes I'm sitting on. I have a lot of episodes that I'm sitting on. But at the case where I feel like it's really a problem for me, I don't want to give y'all subpar episodes. When I was first starting out and stuff like that, I felt like it was okay to just record however I see fit, because I'm still trying to get my foot in the door. I'm still learning how to edit and record and stuff like that. But without progress, I would never be able to obtain and grow my fan base to where I want this to go all over. I want this fan base to be expansive and actually grow into something that I know it could be an actual positive community, because I'm not doing nothing negative. I'm not bashing nobody. I'm not reporting about famous people or nothing like that. Well, at least in a negative light. We're talking about financial education, financial literacy, pretty much financial longevity. It's just something that needs to get put on your mind, especially even if you are going through a hard time and stuff like that. When you listen to this podcast, I want you to be relieved that somebody that, no matter what background or age, can hit conversations about money that have never been hit on. These are conversations that often are had in our heads and stuff like that. So I won't. It's just like, I'm sorry for stumbling and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not editing this episode, so bear with me. I want to give y'all the best. I want to make sure my content is concise to the point to where you understand everything that I'm saying. It's not like I'm speaking in another language or nothing of that sort. Because I like doing this. I like when people give me, good feedback of, oh, I didn't know this or whatever like that. I want to take anybody who I can with me on this journey to learn money. Because the more knowledge that I obtain, I give back to you all as my fans, as my supporters, as the people who watch me on a day-to-day basis. It's never about me coming on here for monetization because everybody else want to do content creation. I had a goal to start this because even though it's a lack of financial education, I'm not on YouTube and all these other spaces. That's the space that I want to grow in. If I have a legacy, I want it to be built off of something positive, and you should too. It shouldn't just be of you want your legacy to be of something that ain't even necessary, or something that wasn't even something that is not leaving a mark. You would just know, oh, you might seem cool to, somebody may be saying it out loud, but overall your actions or you haven't accomplished anything. So people, that's kind of where I wanted to put into perspective too, about a lot that I didn't want to give y'all, because I recorded episode, but they wasn't of the part how I wanted them to be, and that would kind of left me in an awe, because it's like I want this next chapter in my life to reflect progression, to reflect a lot. I want this podcast to stimulate growth. The older it gets, the older I get, I want it to reflect and refract that same thing. I'm not gonna hold y'all for too long. I'm not gonna try to make this like a long essay video, whatever the case may be, but I do want to let y'all know I haven't given up. So, and that goes to show you too, whether if something is not working, don't give up on yourself. I get frustrated. Sometimes, like I said, I get frustrated because I'm still trying to learn the whole game of being a content creator, the editing processes, all that. It's a lot. It's a lot to learn, and you have to stick with it. Because this is something that I actually want to do wholeheartedly. I want to be able to talk, because I feel like as though having a space to where you can kind of control the narrative and control, you can control the vibe, or the whole space of everything. It just feels comfortable, and it's like the conversation that I'm giving. This is the conversations that I'm not attacking nobody. I'm not going after a certain group of people. I want everybody to feel what I'm saying. Rooted, like, there's no way I'll make content to where I'll just be doing this just out of trying to look good or trying to pose as something that I'm not. I actually lived throughout some of these experiences that I told you in these podcasts, and some people, for the good people who have gave me the stories, the information to say in these podcasts, I appreciate you. Fathers and teachers, barbers, different mothers, dads, all that. That's what I'm saying. I get real life information from people who are still out here in the middle class and working class. I just don't go type everything up on Google or look for IA to generate me some fabricated information. To an extent, I go and actually talk to people, get people's different perspective about how they view money. Everybody has a different viewpoint. And I feel like with this podcast, I want to be heard. I want to be seen. I want everybody to know in this world, even though if you might say $20 may not be something, it's always somebody that's in there that feels opposite of you, that can explain to you why, without it being a conflict or a conflict of interest or whatever the case may be. This is a podcast of understanding. This is a podcast of feeling. This is a podcast of knowledge, and that's what I want to turn this into. This is not going to be a run-on-the-mill, simplistic podcast that you can go find anywhere else. I want to give you the real information. I'm not giving you no fabricated numbers that I can just make up. These are coming from people that are still going through life as we speak. And yeah, like, it bothers me not to put out content for you all and stuff like that. But I haven't given up on myself. I haven't given up on myself. I'm sorry. I'm misinterpreting words and everything. I'm kind of like, because my head just kind of puzzling with so much to say. But I appreciate y'all for really just sticking it in with me and growing with me, because this is not, it's a slow journey for surely, but I will eventually get to where I want to be and build this fan base up. And this will be actually something this is something that I would like to actually do full time. Ultimately, I would actually love to go out and see people, talk to them, and discover actually interact with a community in ways that, especially with my community that's around me, in ways that are not represented in the world. Everything doesn't have to be on. Everything doesn't have to be on camera and stuff like that. But to actually have that sense of justice and that sense of integrity within yourself, that you actually take time for people that are in a lesser position than you, says a lot about your character. That's what I want. That's what I want my body of work to reflect. Whether it's podcasting, whether it's saying anything that come out of my mouth, everything ain't gonna come out. Look, and that's another thing too. I want to get straight before we get any deeper into this podcast. If you don't find what I say to be intellectually correct or whatever the case may be, if you feel like you have a problem with it, you are more than free to go watch other people. I'm not the only person that's doing financial content, but it's such a rare commodity nowadays that we have an influx of people doing it, but we don't have enough. We have more people doing 20 V1s and pop the balloon more than actually talking about how to set up your money, how to basically utilize your money for adulthood, how to set up your money for your kids, how to put yourself in a different tax bracket. That's what we need more of. We don't need more of the joking and playing. We get that enough. And yeah, that's all that I wanted to let you all know. I know I said I've been gone for months now, and it's not that I chose to be in like, oh, I gave up on podcasts, and I never give up on something that I truly believe in. So I ain't went nowhere at all. If you thought I was gone, shame on you. Nah, though, but it's like, I want to make sure I give y'all the best content. I want to make sure it comes from a place to where it's understandable, and it's actually it hits it touches you in a way to where it inspires you to grow, or it inspires your child to grow, or it inspires your little cousin to grow. Share this with kids. Share this with my podcast is for all ages. No matter how it's for all ages. And I appreciate for all the people listening. I have more women that listen. I have more women listening to me now than men, and I appreciate all my ladies that listen and stuff like that. I appreciate you so much for taking out your time to listen to me, a young man aspiring to spread the knowledge of finance, and all my fellas too. And I appreciate y'all. And for whoever have kids, I hope that you are having these conversations. Both of y'all as parents, I hope that you are all having these conversations in your household. There's something that is pivotal to your child. This is something that will help them in the long run. I understand you pushing the idea of school and education and stuff like that. Make sure you teach finances as well. Because if you don't, they're going to just be another working class. They're going to be just like you when they grow up. Just working all their life. And there's no salt on wound or no insult or nothing like that. But as time grows on, we are raising workers. It's a reason why the top 10% or 1% is so few. because people have to take the time out to actually to get a child. If you give your child an iPad, put some apps or games on there that can allow them to count, to use this, to learn what credit is, to learn what this is. Like I said, they don't have to be when they get of age, of course. I'm not telling you to tell a 7-year-old or some you got to learn what a mortgage rate is and all that. But introduce them to it one step at a time. Just like how you teach them to walk. You put something in front of them and they crawl to you. Then one day you stand them up and as you move their feet, they get used to that feeling and then eventually they walk. That's the same way you gotta teach. You can teach anything in life like that. Teach them while they're young. Don't have them to go out in the world and they have to suffer the consequences of life because they don't know how to maneuver and actually go through what they're going through. And then it gets to the point to where a lot of kids, a lot of people, a lot of children don't mind suffering. They'd rather suffer than actually even have to bear the shame of even going back to ask their parents for anything. Because at the same time, as a parent, you got to be careful on the stuff that you say or do. Because a lot of times you can close out that child. You can close your own child off from you. Without even, you can close your own child off. Like what he or she don't even feel comfortable enough to tell you because they automatically, you going to go judge them. You're going to go call people and talk about them to other people that they don't even know, hardly your friends and all that. Who would want to be in that situation? Who would want to put themselves in that situation to get talked about? Nobody at all. So as a time people, we got to start looking at the stuff that really matters and not look at things that everybody else is doing. We can't get we need to stop trying to compare people. We need to just grow as a race and a society as a whole. You can't keep telling yourself or making it seem as though you as you trying to do everything right, but you looking at Allison on Facebook and you doing the same thing she doing because her child got superintendent list. That ain't how parenting work. Get to know your child. That go for any and all parents out there. And I'm not trying to turn this into no. I didn't turn this. Might well say I didn't turn this into a whole episode myself, but I want to actually go out there and help people. And people, it starts from at home. Look inside yourself to understand what's the problem with you and what you need to fix. Grow, develop, and change. That's all we can do. We owe it to ourselves to be like this. To evolve in some type of way or form or fashion. We need to. This ain't no... As time like the people are leaving here every day now. It's so much crime and stuff happening in the world. It's ridiculous. The world is more scary because now we don't even know how even the world gonna look in the next couple of years. So it's better out to be prepared than to not be. But like I said, people, I haven't went nowhere at all. But make sure when I do start back posting episodes after this, because I'm posting this, like I told you, I'm not editing nothing of this out. So whatever you hear, you get. And another thing too, I just want to say I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. From a young, like a person that was in high school, didn't have a sense of direction. I had a direction of where I wanted to go, but it led me down a bunch of paths with no record. Like, and then I felt myself losing myself going to college and stuff like that because me not understanding it. And I beat myself down because I felt like I wasn't good enough and I wasn't talented enough to actually perceive out to grow more. College destroyed my confidence. But in a way, after the fact, it showed me how diligent and motivated I was to actually be done with this. That's what got in my way when I first started this podcast, when I wanted to grow it so bad, because I was getting download like this. I was getting hundreds. I was growing rapidly, and I started in COVID. But at the same time too, I had to have that uncomfortable conversation of, oh, when you graduating, when you doing this and doing that. And I was struggling in the point of college. People didn't understand why. And no matter what I told them, they never believed me. It was always me. I was complaining or I was doing this. I worked hard to get where I am. And that goes for anybody, for all ages. Don't let nobody take from what you did and how much work you put in for yourself. You don't need nobody alibi or amen in what you do for yourself. If you grinding out there, if you working hard for a better future and stuff like that, work hard towards that. You don't have to let everybody know your moves. You don't have to keep putting yourself in predicament where you feel like you have to vouch for yourself or validate yourself to other people. They're going to always have something to say about you, whether you doing good or not. People, it's up to you that actually want to become a better person. Can't nobody make you do it. And it shows a lot about your character and just you as a whole. Where are you going from here? What's your next goal in life? Are you just going to sit there and become nothing? Are you going to wither away? The decision is up to you. And it's just like we kind of take the time that we have as young kids and stuff for granted. We don't look into the world until we out here in the world and it hits us. A lot of times they hit more people harder than others. So this is what I'm saying to everybody. It's time to be prepared. It's time to mold yourself into the individual that you need to be in order to go through life. Not saying that everything gonna go as planned, everything is not gonna be smooth sailing all the time. But it shows you how to deal with problems and how to not hold and to hold yourself accountable when you're wrong. That's all I even did to myself, even at a young age. Because at the same time, you can try to appease your parents. You're gonna try to appease your peers. They're never satisfied. Never. That's why you work on self first before anybody else. Yeah, and that gonna pretty much be it for, like I said, this. I wanted to make this. I just wanted to be upfront and honest with you all, and to let y'all know how I'm feeling towards this podcast, how I'm feeling towards you all, and just my overall insight on how everything is going to go when I start back posting again. I haven't lost not an ounce of dedication since I started this podcast. Regardless of what I went through, I still always been writing scripts. I still always been staying up at night to make sure I accomplish what I set out to do. People, you can do it too. Regardless of what you're going through. It gets hard. It does. Life is not easy. But we as people, we can grow, develop, and change. But I love y'all. And most definitely, I'll see y'all in the next episode. So make sure you follow the podcast to get notified, people. We have a YouTube page now. So anything that posts on that you see on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon, all that, it will be updated on YouTube. And I appreciate y'all so much. And thank y'all for consistently going hard for me. I can't thank y'all enough. And with that being said, see y'all soon.